In part 2 of the FEH 10.2 refines, we're covering Tiny Tana and the remixes from Mythic Nerþuz plus Legendary Yuri. Let's get started. Young Tana, or Tiny Tana, is an offensive Lance Flyer like her OG form. Lance Aurelia gets some really good upgrades. Tana herself has 2-space warping to allies within 2 spaces, and she now has built-in pass. Tana has slaying while gaining plus 10 stats in combat. She has flat damage reduction for all hits that gets doubled versus specials. If initiating, Tana gets 25 flat DR. If it's enemy phase, she gets 15. So far, Tana added pass because she really wants to initiate. Previously, she got plus 10 defense res as her initiation bonus, but they've just extended it to plus 10 to all stats at all times. Instead of defense and res, Tana now gets flat DR from modern protection. 25 XL flat DR when initiating is pretty crazy. If the foe procs a special, Tana just knocks out 50 damage after % DR effects. I mean, yeah, this is why the low cooldown specials are dying out, because it's just not worth spamming a ton of lower damage specials when they can't overcome these large amounts of flat DR. For the refined part, Tana gives allies 2-space warping to anywhere around herself. This is a classic guidance for Tana effect. After Tana has fought or assisted in the current turn, allies can move to within 2 tiles from anywhere on the map. This effect is straight from Nier's Tana. To tack on more support for allies within 3 rows or columns, Tana gives them plus 5 stats. Tana gets 20 true damage while allies get plus 10. Everyone gets pre-impulses -1 instant cooldown before attacking. Last, Tana has the 100% potent follow-up effect. As long as she's within 5 speed of the enemy, she will hit in extra time. Good lord, so Tiny Tana is just now a Lance version of her great Nier result. If you're not familiar, if Tana fights or assists an ally, she now becomes a warp beacon for anyone from anywhere. If Tana initiates, her entire team can just warp straight into the enemy team. This is one reason warp bubbles are really nice to have. With that said, Tana herself gets passed to avoid warp bubble. If she initiates, she gets a ton of flat DR, some extra cooldown, and a chance for 100% potent hit. Even if you deny Tana's team warp, you still gotta deal with her own decent combat. So as of late, Tana has an incredible amount of options to fulfill her initiation role. First off, Tana does not have Kanto, so getting access to one via Blue Skies would be great, or you can use Sigurd's Ring, which also gives +1 movement to get into battle. Celica's Ring plus a new pass effect can allow Tana to warp into enemies herself, but you can also use Heavenly Soar or Air Superiority. Since she already has a potent effect and a ton of flat DR, Heavenly Soar is pretty enticing. Another 20% speed or defense as flat DR to add to like Excel or Blue Skies flat DR, and then you added that to the % DR special. Tana can go with Haze Slice or Gale Force Mist to take any number of hits. Arch Rival can add Guard plus its special and charging effect. Celestial Form can deal decent damage for a 3 cooldown option, and Tana will ready its % DR after her first attack. To add more chaos to the initiation party, Tana could use Divine Vein skills to clear out enemy Divine Veins to set up the team warp. Daily Miasma has low, Strat Flame has true damage, flat DR, and breath type cooldown. Honestly, not a bad option, albeit Tana will give up bonus speed, and without Blue Skies, you would need to find Kanto elsewhere. For other skills, Tana can abuse Dive Bomb or Trample's Desperation with her 100% potent hit to attack up to 3 times in a row. She does lack a way to bypass Fall Denial, so you could run No Uplift or Sly Echo. In terms of survival, No Follow-Up would be best to have. Flow Guard 4 or Outspeed Wave are other ways to get access to that. Now for cooldown, Execution Breath can provide extra flat DR, or you can stack instant cooldown with Assault Impetus / Momentum. For other support skills, the Uplift Imbue can give another 5 flat DR, plus Imbue's great healing. Now Uplift plus Strat Assault can give 5 true damage to the team to stack with the Refine. Strat Assault's another +1 move skill with True Charge for allies. Tana can also use Rain Snap for +1 movement support, or she can get her own mobility from Brutal Tempest / Tumultuous Echo. All in all, Tana wants a way to get into the fight, and Kanto to help set up the team warp after. You can focus on Tana's damage output, or just stack a ridiculous amount of flat DR with your % DR special of choice. Keep in mind, Tana is free to just assist an ally to get the team warp. She could assist, then Kanto toward the enemy, and you can send in your better units to warp in and attack. Whether you fight or not, just being able to move your entire team elsewhere is an incredible ability. Next, Mythic Nerþuz is a light mythic blue beast cavalier. She is very fast, and I believe she was the last beast cavalier with the old transformation effect on release. However, because Nerþuz is skipping the refined line thanks to remixes, she won't be the last unit that gets the updated effects. This includes attack and defense debuffs based on movement, and 30% damage reduction for 1 hit if the initiator moved 2 spaces. For the refined, Horn of the Land has received some buffs. For Nthuse and allies within 3 rows or columns, they get +5 stats. Nthuse deals 25 true damage while allies deal 10, and everyone gets spread type cooldown effects. Nthuse herself will get Sling, no follow-up, and gets bonus stats based on her max special cooldown value times 2. A 4 cooldown special would give +8 extra stats. Now for the refined portion, Nerþuz gets counter distance +1 along with +5 stats in combat. She gets 15 Excel flat DR, and then she does a potent follow-up check by decreasing the speed roll for doubling by 25. If Nerþuz only attacks one time, the potent hit is equal to max cooldown value times 40%, otherwise it's max cooldown value times 20%. Horn of the Land adds some support aspects including stats, true damage, and breath type cooldown. Along with the new 30% DR while transformed, Nerþuz gets 15 Excel flat DR, which is pretty nice. Last, Nerþuz has the potent follow-up effect from her Halloween ult. Nerþuz is rewarded for running higher cooldown specials. If she doubles, then a 4 cooldown special would still give an 80% damage potent hit. That's pretty good considering this potent effect has the easier speed roll check. Moving over to the remix for Free to Life Plus, Nerþuz gets Fortune's easier transformation conditions, as long as she's within 2 spaces of one beast or dragon, or she isn't completely surrounded by humans, then Nerþuz would transform. You can also trigger this in Aether Raid's defense on turn 1. Now after start of turn and after acting, Nerþuz inflicts -7 speed and defense, exposure, and sabotage onto the closest foe and foes within 2 spaces. For her own combat, Nerþuz inflicts -5 attack, speed, and defense, and deals true damage equal to 20% speed. Nerþuz gets 40% DR versus all attacks, and gets flat DR equal to 20% speed. She has full damage reflection based on the damage reduced from the first hit taken. Last up, Nerþuz gets full tempo effects, and after combat she inflicts gravity onto the target and adjacent foes. With the Refined Plus Remix, there is a lot added, so to summarize, Nerþuz gets the updated Cavalry Beast transformation bonus and Fortune to use it all the time. That 30% DR for one hit stacks with the 40% DR for all hits, and Nerþuz has 2 new flat DR sources to back it up. She will need this because of her damage reflection. Nerþuz is very fast, has no follow-up, and also has a strong potent follow-up effect. For support, allies can get 20 true damage, breath type cooldown, +5 stats, and speed and defense debuffs. Nerþuz also inflicts AoE gravity after fighting, plus she gets Kanto to retreat away. To complement her new combative power, Nerþuz gets Dark Beast Force for free. This skill inflicts -4 speed and defense, neutralizes stat debuffs, grants +5 true damage, and comes with Feud's ability to ignore all support skills helping the enemy in combat. If you haven't noticed, nearly every single unit these days has some form of support perks, and a lot of those include in-combat buffs or debuffs. Feud will neutralize all those effects, which is really good in today's game. Now, to round out Nerthuz's new upgrades, she has a couple options. You can keep her base attack and speed clash 4, but Dark Beast Force covers debuff neutralization. To go with all her stacking % DR and flat DR, Excel is kind of the obvious choice. While Nerthuz has some regular % DR skills, you still want an unpierceable 40% DR special. With her cooldown perks, you can ready Nimble Beast, but that will only give % DR for one hit unless you get 20% DR support. If you're afraid of enemy brave attacks, for example, then Nerthuz will want Gale Force Mist. 40% DR for all hits taken, and the higher cooldown means Nerthuz will get more stats and that 80% DR potent hit at the very least. It's no coincidence that one of 2 sources of Gale Force Mist is Halloween Nerthuz. She has always been a unit incentivized to initiate, and that will continue with this refined remix. Slang, breath type cooldown, no guard, and potent all help make triggering Gale Force pretty easy. Now for other skills, Nerthuz could run Flared Sparrow to go with her AoE gravity hit and runs. She's got a great Kanto ability now, so Shadow Sea skills can work. If you prefer having more team buffs, then Attack and Speed, Outcry Dull, Hone Assault, or Inside Hone are all still great. Dark Beast Force is good for personal combat, but if you don't need Nerthuz to fight, then you can just swap that out. I don't have it listed, but Beast Threaten's another option. Its panic effect would synergize with Sabotage. For Sacred Seals, Clash 3 is fine, or you could try Guard to pair with the new tempo effects. Counter War's 30% damage reflection is different from Fruit of Lives, so they can be used together. Overall, Nthuse is still an initiator, but she's added some extra support perks to the team. If you want to help her combat even further, you can stack the Reflex status with her innate damage reflection. Last Refiner Remix goes to Legendary Yuri. He was just here for his OG form, but thanks to his Trickster tricks, he's cutting a line a couple months later. This Yuri is a Red Dagger infantry with great attack and speed. He's a bit more upfront about his combat compared to Voke's more shadowy assassinations. Abyssal Blade got a few tweaks. This 14 Might Dagger has Sling, +5 stats, full no follow-up, and deals 25 true damage. Yuri gets 40% DR for all hits taken, and he has 7 flat DR. Basically, Abyssal Blade upgraded most of its original perks to modern standards. The flat DR is the only truly new addition. For the Refine, if Yuri uses a Rally or Movement Assist, he gets an extra action. If Yuri is a part of any Rally or Movement Assist, then he inflicts -7 speed and defense, exposure, and discord onto the closest foes from both Yuri and his ally. These debuffs also spread out 2 spaces. Last, Yuri gets +10 stats in combat, and he has the 100% potent follow-up effect. Be within 5 speed of the enemy to get a full damage extra hit. Besides more tanking power and a great 100% potent attack, Yuri's main upgrade is getting extra actions after assisting. I don't have the room, but Yuri has a unique foul play assist skill. He gets to swap from 3 spaces away, and he will now get to move again. In addition, Yuri will apply debuffs mid-phase, so you will want to use foul play or at least assist Yuri with an ally. First, Feathers of Dromi C skill, it's actually been renamed to just Dromi 2. Yuri will get Kanto 2, and during Kanto, he gets to use a Shadow Foul Play. Same 3 range swap as his assist skill, but this version doesn't count as an assist trigger. Now, for foes within 3 rows or columns, Yuri inflicts -5 stats and neutralizes field boss. For himself, Yuri gets +1 movement. If the foe applied stall to Yuri, he will trick them by disabling his own +1 movement status. This just guarantees Yuri isn't affected by stall, he's always going to move 2 or 3 spaces. Now, for combat, Yuri gets 7 true damage and flat DR. If initiating and the foe has an offensive special, Yuri inflicts Scowl's +1 cooldown before enemy attacks. Legendary Yuri is very similar to his Summer ult with speed and defense debuffing and Shadow Foul Play. Summer Yuri does not get an extra action after using regular Foul Play though, and that's where Legendary really stands out. Yuri can move, then use Foul Play, self-refresh to move, then use Foul Play again. Last, he can Kanto move to use Shadow Foul Play. This is a ridiculous amount of actions from one guy, and he doesn't have to fight at all. Yuri can almost single-handedly move his team around the map before they even act. As for combat, Yuri gets Scowl with no res check, and he's stacking %DR plus flat DR to tank hits. With exposure, he gets 42 true damage from these 2 skills, and he has the 100% potent hit for extra insurance. Don't forget, he's a 3-moved ranged unit as well. To go with his extra action, Yuri can use the favorite B skills very well. Assisting gives -1 cooldown, 50% DR piercing, field boss, and empathy. It also gives Yuri and allies true damage. The cooldown portion works once per turn, but Yuri can provide the other buffs to a second ally if he wants. Shadow Foul Play won't trigger favor, but still the general idea is just that Yuri is ferrying his team around the map and buffing them at the same time. As a bonus, favor can help Yuri charge the 5 cooldown Archrival or Comet. These 40% DR specials gives Yuri more tanking power. Archrival's guard and special on charging is great with Dromi's Scowl effect. You can also use Tempo to neutralize enemy cooldown skills. While Archrival could proc on the second turn after 2 favor activations if you face a green foe, Comet can trigger on turn 2 against anyone. Its -1 cooldown combined with Favor's -1 cooldown adds up quickly, and Yuri's extra action actually lets him unleash the special in the same turn. As mentioned with Volca, while lethality is fun, it does lose value if you apply defense debuffs. Yuri's Refine and Remix inflict -12 defense total. As part of the remix, Yuri will get Attack and Speed Hex Edge for free. He needs a nearby magic damage ally to gain Anathema, which is another -4 defense. The skill also grants 5 true damage with 50% DR piercing. If you did use Favor, that will give Yuri 75% DR piercing, and well, that's another reason you may not want to use lethality here. For other skills, Yuri can go back to his old Hexblade for adaptive damage or finish 4, but I think Hex Edge is the best option for now. The B slot is more competitive. Favor is awesome, but Yuri can also use Execution Breath and pair up well. True damage and flat dare skills will help with tanking, plus pair up makes it tougher to double Yuri and neutralizes debuffs to go at his low effect. If you want to deal with traps, Yuri can also use full disarm. Speed Taker is another option since no guard is good to have. For more skills, you could pre-charge AoE specials or Astro with Favor. Yuri could run Finish 3 Sacred Seals or Attack and Defense Link for another way to buff allies via Foul Play. In conclusion, Legendary Yuri shows his other forms and all those other Lookout Dagger users who the true trickster is. He's gonna be all over the place. That's it for part 2 of the 10.2 refines. In general, it's a pretty good batch. Tana and Yuri will be able to move their entire teams around while Nerthuz continues her initiation focus. If you missed part 1, we had refines for Violin, Moosebo, Volca, and Mr. Sleepy Salem. If you would like a chance to get some good fodder, then the Hero Rises banner has been determined. I'll list all the skills you can get from that in my pinned comment. Thank you for watching, have fun with the new refines, and I will see you in the next video.